Sony is mad, like bigly mad. The acquisitions are sort of spilling over into the public limelight, if you will. Now, Microsoft, as we all know, is trying to buy Activision for about $70 billion, somewhere in there, depending on how you round or whatever, just somewhere around that figure. And as we all know, it comes with Call of Duty, and Microsoft is under the magnifying glass by many different entities really scrutinizing this deal. So, what did Phil Spencer do last week? He said, hey, look, when we were starting to work through this, I sent a letter or an email or probably a fax or whatever over to Jim Ryan, the head of PlayStation, head over at Sony, and said, look, if we get this deal closed, we're going to keep Call of Duty on your platform for an undetermined amount of time. And, people kind of ate that up and said, look, Microsoft's trying to do the right thing. Well, Sony, more specifically Jim Ryan, came out this week and said, nope, we're not happy. Nope, no can dooski. We're not going to do that. He put out a statement that said specifically, says Microsoft has only offered Call of Duty to remain on PlayStation for 3 years after the current agreement between Activision and Sony ends. After almost 20 years of Call of Duty on PlayStation, their proposal was inadequate on many levels and failed to take account of the impact on our gamers. We want to guarantee PlayStation gamers continue to have high-quality Call of Duty experiences, and Microsoft's proposal undermines this principle. So that's a pretty big stab to the hey, we're gonna do this the friendly route sort of way. Now let's just kind of look at some of the facts. First off, Sony for a long time now, several years or several generations of Call of Duty, has paid for exclusivity on its platform, meaning specific levels, earlier access, types of weapons. So Sony has already sort of muddled up their own statement by, throwing money at Activision to get exclusivity on their platform. Not to mention, Sony just bought up Bungie. Now, Bungie makes a pretty popular game called Destiny, and they have to agree to keep things on the Xbox side. And you don't hear Microsoft causing a stink about this. Also, on the Microsoft side, they bought a little title called Minecraft, and I think the industry could probably agree that they've done a pretty good job of bringing it cross-platform and putting it just about everywhere else. And so the precedent is actually on Microsoft's side that says, look, we're pretty much cross-platform, we're not tying things exclusivity. And either way, Sony is obviously very nervous about this acquisition because they know how powerful Call of Duty is. And let's just be real clear here. I don't think there is any single thing Microsoft could do that would actually make Sony be like, okay, go buy Call of Duty and we won't complain. I really don't. They could probably promise them, look, we'll give you Call of Duty forever as long as it's a title, it will always be available on PlayStation. And I suspect that probably wouldn't even be enough because, again, at the end of the day, Microsoft being in control of Call of Duty, even if they guarantee to make it better or available there, they would always make it always on par with what is happening on Xbox. I doubt that they would ever allow PlayStation to have an exclusive map, weapon, or anything else that they have used in the past to help make more people buy Call of Duty on PlayStation than they did on Xbox. So the gloves are really coming off. There's also some other interesting conversations around Jim Ryan talking about how, hey, he thought initially this was more like a private matter, and actually Phil Spencer bringing this out into the public with his letter and his statements really kind of maybe didn't sit well if you kind of between, if you will, the tea leaves of what Jim is saying here is like, look, this is a business thing. This doesn't need to be spilled over into the public, but here we are. Either way, it's because Microsoft is getting a lot of pressure from in the UK, and I suspect they're going to get a lot of pressure from everywhere, and Sony is lobbying heavily to block this acquisition. I still think Microsoft will be able to get this through. I think they do have a plausible route, considering how that they are the third largest player in the gaming industry. It's not like they have a dominant platform yet, although Sony does make a good argument, and more specifically the UK authority says, look, they may not be dominant in Xbox or gaming, but they're dominant in PC, they're dominant in cloud, they're dominant in productivity, and so this would be one more way that they could become dominant in gaming. So either way, I think this journey is far from over. I just find it interesting that Sony is now having no issues going public about the statements and not being shy about pushing back about what Microsoft is doing. And I actually think that is going to be Microsoft's biggest hurdle. The regulatory bodies are one thing and they can appease them, but Sony is going to be fighting this in every jurisdiction possible, I think all the way up until the finish line, until Microsoft either does or does not complete the acquisition. Either way, gloves are off. It's getting a little dirty, just a little fun to see what's happening in the big boy leagues of $70 billion acquisitions. And if you want to stay updated on everything else that is happening in the world of Xbox, make sure to keep it subscribed here, because the only BS on this channel is me.